Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be working on some quilted paper for these journals. A little quilting hack I'm going to share. It's pretty simple. Remember I had all these 1-inch strips left, and I have obviously lots of dictionary pages. I am going to cut these strips down into 1/2-inch strips. And I'm also going to take some dictionary pages and I'm going to cut those down into long 1/2-inch strips. And I'll be back. Okay, now I have a pile of 1/2-inch strips, and I took another book page and I just made sure that the edges were straight. And so I have cut this down. This was the original size. And I just trimmed off the edges to straighten it. Now what I'm gonna do is glue these strips to this book page. And I can just sit and glue. I don't have to measure because they're all a 1/2-inch. And I'm just going to line them up and glue them down. And you don't have to do this the long way. You can do it the short way, and it'll come out just fine. Just there's less cutting if you're using the longer strips. So you get the gist. I'm just gonna alternate colors and patterns. And I probably have enough to do 3 dictionary pages, so I'm gonna go ahead and do all 3 in strips like this. Like I said, you could take shorter strips if you just have little scraps, and you could do it this way. No big deal. Whichever way you feel more comfortable. So this is the next step. Okay, I've glued all my pieces down. And you see this edge? This was the original book page underneath. And you can see why I say you need to start with a straight edge, because a lot of these vintage papers, the edges aren't straight. And this is off quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna flip it over where I can see the original page, and I'm gonna trim off the ends and square this back up. I don't know where my favorite pair of scissors is. I think my daughter might have borrowed them. So I'm just gonna do this for all 3 pages. And if you laid your papers this way, you would want to cut, you know, wherever your straight edge is. So then I'm gonna take them and I'm going to get rid of this white edge. See here where I collage the piece on and there's a white edge left. I just want to get rid of that. So also make sure you're cutting from the straight side, not the crooked side. Okay. So now I have my 3 pages cleaned up. Pretty straight as they're gonna get. Okay, now I'm gonna take these and I'm going to cut them this way in 1/2-inch strips, all of them. And I'll be back to show you what to do next. Okay, I've cut quite a few strips out of each page. I've taken an index page from an atlas. I had started my master board on it and just cut it off and squared this up. So now I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to glue them to this. So what I want to do is create my checkerboard pattern. So I want to alternate. See how they're little tiny squares now? I wanted the smaller size because the journal that I'm working in is small. So that's why I went with the 1/2-inch. You could use any size paper you want. I'm going to, and then down here, we'll just add a piece on whichever color you decide to add. Let's say you don't want that one. You have an extra square out here on this end. And you decide, well, I don't want that green. It's too close to that green. There's another green. Just take your scissors, snip that little square off. Nope. Okay. You just want to keep layering. And you can layer across this way. Just pay attention to which squares are touching where so that, like right here, I don't want to put that there because the patterns are too close to me. There's 2 patterns together there. We can move this one here. So you can play around with it. So let's say I wanted to fill in this section. I would just clip 3 little squares off right here and fill this in. Okay, and then I would just keep going. I have an extra little square here I clipped off earlier that I can put here at the end. And you just keep building this up however you want it to look. Okay, and get it all glued down. And I'm gonna go and work on that, and I'll come back and show you what the sheet looks like. Okay, I'm gonna stop here at this height because nothing that I make for this journal is going to be taller than the journal itself. So this is a good size to work with. It's still really flexy. So what I'm going to use this for is to make pockets for the journal. So I'm probably going to back this again onto another book page. But there you go. A little paper quilt. Thanks for watching, y'all.